What advice would you give to young people? Have children immediately, including in high school. Yes, I think that's all that matters.
Two things. One, don't have kids for the sake of having kids. And secondly, do not have kids while you're still in high school.
Oh, I can't afford that. Well, yeah, you'll figure out a way to afford it once you have kids.
But is that really a smart way to go about it? Not to mention, we're also skipping a step of finding a compatible partner that you wish to grow in life with and build a family together.
I'm not sure if it's true of women, but it's definitely true of men. You will not achieve until you have no choice. Men do nothing until they have to. But once they have to, they will do anything.
That is quite a leap of faith to put in place and hope it pans out in your favor. And if you're able to pinpoint successful examples of this, be sure to not overlook the unsuccessful ones.
Really believe that from watching and from being one.
There's a lot riding on you as the expectant parent to step up to make this situation work. Your future children's lives depend on it.
Even if you're poor, having spent my life among rich people, I grew up among rich people. I am a rich person. Boy, are they unhappy.
My question is it wise for Tucker Carlson, self-admitting he grew up rich, to speak on behalf to having any understanding of the lived experience of those that didn't grow up rich? And I don't think it's useful to completely dismiss people's genuine concerns about being in a financially comfortable position to where they would feel confident in starting a family. And the cost of living in the Western world continues to rise. Wages, on the other hand.
Well, that's clearly not the road to happiness. You don't want to be a debt slave or starve to death or anything like that.
Well, in this capitalist circus that we're all forced to participate in, we don't have a choice.
Making $1 billion? That's not worth doing. Don't do that. Don't even try to do that.
Personally, I would just love a career that pays me well enough to where I can cover my basic necessities comfortably and have enough money left over to invest in a future that I see is worth investing in. Which these days, the amount seems to be 10K a month, 50K a day, 100K a second.
Seeking money for its own sake is a dead end.
There's a lot in this message that Tucker Carlson is saying that I can really resonate with. It's packaged terribly, but there's a lot I can resonate with.
You should seek for its own sake is children.
Irrespective of whether you like Tucker Carlson or not, or whether you agree or disagree with his political stance, if having children for him has made him feel whole and fulfilled in life, I'm envious of that. Good on him.
Talk about a creative act. The whole point of life is to create. That's all that's worth doing while you're alive, is creating something beautiful.
Evidently, that doesn't necessarily have to be having children. Now, having children is a beautiful thing, but I truly believe that the only people that should be having children are those that want to have children. Let's use Tucker Carlson's family for an example. In 1976, Carlson's parents divorced after the 9-year marriage reportedly turned sour. Carlson's father was granted custody of Tucker and his brother. Carlson's mother left the family when he was 6 and moved to France. The boys never saw her again. Tucker Carlson would later say that his mother left the family when he was 6, wanting to pursue a bohemian lifestyle. Now, while Tucker would not be here today without his mother and father, his mother's actions and behavior are not indicative of someone who wanted to be a parent, in my opinion. Did you know there's even a subreddit online called Regretful Parents with over 100,000 members, where parents flock to anonymously to vent their frustrations with their regret in having children? And there's plenty of people out there who've decided for themselves that they wish to not have children. There's even a growing movement online of people amplifying a message of being child-free by choice. And to me, the core of that message is just to destigmatize the decision that some people make to choose to not bring children into the world. That's it. And perhaps even to put the idea in some people's head that they don't actually have to do it.
I don't know why people have them. I have nothing against them, but it really seems that people don't know that they don't have to have them. Like something just clicks on and they're like, I guess it's time. It's like, doesn't have to be. You're human. You can decide. You're not a dog. It's not based on a smell.
But there always seems to be so much concern from people that the person who's decided to not have children is making the wrong decision.
And people, say to me, like, well, don't you get lonely? I'm like, I do. I get very lonely, but I never think like a kid would make this better,
And if you do want to have kids, don't forget, you still got to pick the right partner.
I've had 2 wives. I got no kids. It takes a special kind of asshole to have 2 wives and no kids. I think my second wife put it like this. You think I'm bringing children into this?
Need I remind you, our population is over 8 billion people. With predictions, it's going to peak at 10 billion. We just went through a pandemic where millions of people died and it barely made a dent in the world population. We are not in survival mode and the human species is not on the verge of extinction. Now, I get the underlying message of Tucker's video is essentially that him having a family has been a way more fulfilling, worthwhile pursuit than any work he's done. Anything that's made our life better or improved it or made it more worthwhile and fulfilling. If we're a compassionate person, we can't help but want to share that with others. That's exactly how I feel about sobriety. Happiness and fulfillment can be acquired in lots of different areas outside of having children. But the general consensus seems to be that some people have a tough time accepting the decision of others deciding not to have children. Do you really want people who've decided to not have children to try and guilt them into having children? Do you think that's best for the kids they have? I think it's better for those kids to be raised by parents that wanted to bring them into the world. You don't have to have kids. Just like you don't have to concern yourself with trying to change the mind of somebody who's decided they don't want to have kids. If you want to have kids, focus on building a plan to create an optimal environment to bring those kids into and raise them in. Most importantly, have kids because you want to have kids.